In this presentation, I will be talking about speed of processing in aging. What is speed of processing? It is how quickly and efficiently the early steps of information processing are carried out. As you can see, the diagram on the right shows processing speed as the foundation for processing information. How quickly we are able to process information determines our attention and concentration, how well memories are formed, as well as executing those executive functions. As stated on the slide, all components of mental processing do not slow equally. This is highly dependent on the task that the older adult is being asked to do. It has also been found that the amount of beta amyloid protein in the central nervous system is related to the degree at which processing slows down. Beta amyloid, made of proteins that form a sticky plaque that disrupts neural connections in the brain, is linked to the possible development of Alzheimer's disease and forms of dementia. There was a recent longitudinal study done, published in January of this year, which took a look at MRI scans of 64 cognitively intact older adults. The study concluded that those with lower amyloid had greater functional connectivity in the left middle frontal gyrus, or MFG, and was associated with better attention, processing speed, and executive function. Looking at the picture of the brain, I have placed an arrow pointing to the left MFG for reference. As previously said, the buildup of these amyloid proteins are linked to Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Therefore, I think this topic will be further studied in more depth in the near future. Processing resources are defined as the amount of attention an individual can apply to a certain situation. As you can see in the picture, the gentleman is intensely focusing on his chess game. He is applying all of his attention to his game rather than talking to his friend. Not that he isn't able to do both at the same time, he is choosing to not divide his attention. There are two categories within processing resources, including inhibitory loss and attentional resources, that will be covered further on the following slides. Inhibitory loss is the inability to filter out irrelevant information in the environment. It was found that the oldest old, 85 and above, have more task-irrelevant thoughts. However, positive messages were found to reduce distractions and improve performance with everyday tasks. There are some strategies that can be utilized to compensate for this, such as closing one's eyes or averting eyes from irrelevant information. By utilizing these strategies, older adults performed comparably to younger adults regarding auditory stimuli. Furthermore, it was found that inhibitory loss can be beneficial. When information was initially distracting and later on became relevant, the older adults performed better than the younger adults. There are many components that fall under attentional resources. Divided attention is how well one can perform multiple tasks at the same time. As you can see, the person in the top picture is not excelling at this. Older adults do not have more trouble dividing their attention and have the same capability to multitask as a younger adult. However, there really is no such thing as multitasking. It's just how well you can switch between tasks. Generally, older adults are just a bit slower when it comes to switching in between tasks and at each individual task. In general, older adults are going to put all of their focus into the task that is most important to them. There was one study that was conducted with older adults and younger adults and their ability to carry out a cognitive task while sidestepping. It showed that older adults tended to be more conservative as their balance and stability were the most important to them. Automatic processing is what we do without even thinking about it, as it is pre-wired in a sense. For instance, my grandma makes coffee every morning. Sometimes she'll go back to the coffee pot because she can't remember if she turned it on or put water in. It turns out she always does. However, it's become so automatic that she doesn't even remember that she did it. Just as one might go back to their house to make sure that they close their garage door. It is generally closed because it is an automatic process that has been pre-wired and we don't give it much thought. Effortful processing, however, requires all available attentional capacity. This type of processing requires active thinking and remembering. We do not see age differences with automatic processing, but we do with effortful processing. This is just an example to further explain the previous two slides. When we take in information, it is encoded and then stored. Then, when we want to retrieve that information, we can do so through two processes, automatic or effortful processing. For automatic processing, we see a dog on the sidewalk and we know it's a dog. We don't have to think about what kind of animal it is. However, with effortful processing, if I were to ask my grandpa to call my mom, he would have to think about it and remember her number, which would take effort.